I am about to address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments, there will be anything, it'll just be me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on.
Last month, the judge issued a temporary restraining order blocking her from making those appointments without approval from trustees.
Tiffany Henyard is back, and this time she's making waves for all the wrong reasons. Can you believe it? After facing scandal after scandal, you think she might step down, lay low, or maybe even disappear for a while. But no, not Henyard. Instead, she's gearing up for re-election like none of it matters. So let that sink in. A mayor embroiled in multiple controversies, accused of misusing public funds, and even under investigation by federal authorities, thinks now's the perfect time to ask voters for another term. It's bold, it's audacious, and honestly, it's raising eyebrows across the board.
Very appreciative to receive the information today. We have the best mayor ever. I've been here since 1993.
So let's take a step back for a moment and dive into exactly what's going on in Dolton, Illinois. Tiffany Henyard became the mayor in 2021, and almost from the get-go, her leadership has been, well, let's say questionable at best. It's just last year she was recalled by voters. Yes, you heard that right. She was voted out. But what did she do? She took it to court, fought her way back into office. And here we are today, watching her campaign for re-election like none of that ever happened.
This administration is shameful. Y'all are a disgrace.
We're watching the fall of this administration.
But wait, it gets better. This isn't just about some local drama. The village of Dolton is making national headlines, and not in a good way. Henyard is under multiple investigations, including a federal probe into the village's finances. Imagine that, a small town, millions of dollars in deficit, and a mayor accused of splurging taxpayer money on everything from lavish events to questionable personal purchases. The numbers don't lie. Lori Lightfoot, who was brought in to investigate, found that Dolton's general fund had a negative balance of over $6 million by May 2024. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. You have to wonder, with so much scrutiny and so many red flags, why would she want to run again? Some say it's all about keeping control, while others believe it's an attempt to avoid the consequences of the ongoing investigations. So one of the most mind-boggling accusations against Henyard is the use of public events, like Christmas and Halloween giveaways, to gather voter data. So that's right. Critics are saying these events, which are supposed to be for the community, are nothing more than clever scams to collect information and sway voters. And with residents already distrustful of her leadership, these tactics only add fuel to the fire.
I'm a private investigator. I've got some books that says Super Mayor. Inside I have from the United States District Court, Northern District of Illinois.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Before diving into these rumors, we need to paint a fuller picture of how Tiffany Henyard has kept herself in power despite being recalled by her own constituents. When the residents of Dolton voted to recall her in 2022, it seemed like the end of the road for Henyard. But instead of bowing out gracefully, she took the matter to court, fighting tooth and nail to stay in office. And guess what? She won. The Illinois Appellate Court ruled that the votes to recall her were invalid, which allowed Henyard to remain as mayor. It's a classic case of political maneuvering, but it left a bitter taste in the mouths of Dolton's residents and local officials. So what's even more outrageous is that, even as these investigations were mounting, Henyard doubled down on her efforts to maintain control. Take her appointments of key village officials, for example. In September, a Cook County judge had to step in and block her from appointing a new police chief, village attorney, and village manager. Why? Because she was doing it without board approval. Think about that for a second, ignoring the legal process, bypassing the village board and appointing her own people as if the rules didn't apply to her. So the judge even warned her that she could be held in contempt of court if she didn't follow the law. So and yet Henyard didn't back down.
Also new tonight, Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard is suing some village trustees over Monday's meeting.
This brings us to the ongoing FBI investigation into Dolton's financial records. It's not just some local audit. We're talking about a federal investigation that's attracted national attention. So the town of Dolton, under Henyard's leadership, has been accused of financial mismanagement on a massive scale. When former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot stepped in to examine the village's finances, she found a shocking lack of accountability. One of the most damning findings was that Henyard had spent a jaw-dropping $40,000 in one day on Amazon. Let that sink in. $40,000 in one day, and nobody knows what it was spent on. Lightfoot's investigation uncovered a pattern of reckless spending, including racking up tens of thousands of dollars in overtime pay for police officers. In some cases, officers were earning nearly as much in overtime as their base salary, which only deepened the town's financial crisis.
For months, there is a new legal battle brewing in Dolton between the mayor and some village trustees.
As Regina Waldrop explains, it has a lot to do with two meetings held earlier this week.
And it's not just about the numbers, it's about trust. Henyard's spending habits have caused massive frustration among village trustees and residents alike. So people are fed up with her actions, and they're not afraid to speak out. Trustees have voiced their anger over her handling of the village's budget, accusing her of putting personal interests above the needs of the community. One trustee, Brittany Norwood, didn't mince words, saying, "We've been trying to get these records for the past 2 years. It's clear that Henyard's actions have sparked a deep divide between her and other village leaders, and it's only worse."
That's clickbait, huh? All right. I guess anything else? I get sued all the time. Y'all, stop it.
Now back to those public events. Christmas giveaways, Halloween parties, community gatherings. On the surface, these seem like great opportunities to bring the village together. But according to some residents, there's more to these events than meets the eye. So critics allege that Henyard has been using these public gatherings to collect voter data under the guise of registration forms. What should have been simple community outreach events have been framed as political tactics to build a database of supporters. Whether or not this is true, the rumors are swirling, and they've only added to the growing distrust in Henyard's leadership.
Of court, the judge today declining to hold her in contempt, but did warn her that if she did not follow the ruling, he would.
And let's not forget the questionable appointments of village officials. Henyard's attempts to fill key positions without the consent of the village board have sparked outrage. In one instance, she tried to appoint a new village manager to replace Keith Freeman, a move that was blocked by the board. But Henyard didn't stop there. She also appointed a new police chief and village attorney, all without following proper protocol. It's this kind of behavior that has residents and officials alike questioning her motives and wondering if she's more concerned with consolidating power than serving the community.
Or the administration can adhere to some financial limits. We're not looking to necessarily...
At this point, it's clear that the stakes are high. The upcoming election could either solidify Henyard's hold on power or finally bring her controversial tenure to an end. The FBI investigation, the mounting financial issues, and the growing public outcry are all coming to a head, and Dolton is at a crossroads. If Henyard wins re-election, it could mean more of the same, more scandals, more investigations, and more financial turmoil for the village. But if she loses, it could signal the beginning of a new chapter for Dolton, one where accountability and transparency take stage. Yet some believe Henyard's re-election campaign is a last-ditch effort to avoid legal consequences. There's a growing sense that if she doesn't run, it might look like an admission of guilt. So one fan commented online, if Tiffany doesn't run for office, she will look like she is guilty of everything she is accused of doing. It's a valid point. Henyard has built her reputation on being a fighter, someone who doesn't back down, no matter how serious the allegations against her. On not running could be seen as a sign of weakness, and for someone like Henyard, that's not an option.
Next thing is my vetoes. So I got several vetoes here that the board has.
But that doesn't mean everyone is buying it. Another fan chimed in, saying, absolutely insane, nothing is free, giving away what's not hers to give away. This comment speaks to the growing frustration among Dolton residents, who feel like Henyard has been using the village's resources as her own personal piggy bank. So like the giveaways, the lavish spending, the unauthorized appointments, it's all starting to feel like part of a larger scheme, and people are fed up.
Here to appoint my police chief, my village.
And let's be real for a second, the possibility of imprisonment isn't just a wild rumor. There are serious investigations underway, and if the allegations against Henyard hold up, it's not out of the question that legal consequences could follow. Of course, nothing has been proven yet, and Henyard continues to deny all accusations, but the uncertainty surrounding her future adds another layer of drama to this already explosive story. As the election draws closer, Henyard's fate hangs in the balance. Will voters give her another chance, or will they finally decide that enough is enough? And if she does win, how will she navigate the ongoing investigations and the growing backlash from her own community? These are the questions on everyone's mind, and they're what make this election so critical not just for Dolton, but for Henyard's political career as a whole. What's clear is that Henyard is not someone who backs down easily. She's fought hard to stay in power, and she's not about to let a little thing like an FBI investigation or budget deficit get in her way. But in doing so, she's alienated many of the very people she's supposed to serve. The residents of Dolton are tired of the drama, the legal battles, and the endless headlines about their mayor's questionable actions. They want change, and they want accountability. Whether or not Henyard can provide that is another question entirely.
Called our security firm, we made sure they had wands, and we also told our board to come upstairs due to the fact they had several ways to exit out of the building.
It's clear that the drama in Dolton is only heating up. With investigations still ongoing, public trust at an all-time low, and an election just around the corner, all eyes are on Tiffany Henyard. Whether she can survive this storm or finally face the consequences of her actions remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, this is a political showdown you don't want to miss. So what do you think? Is Tiffany Henyard's re-election campaign just another scheme to hold onto power? Or does she genuinely believe she's the right person to lead Dolton through this crisis? And if she wins, what's next for the village? More of the same, or will we finally see some real accountability? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because this is one story that's far from over.